Lorde goes independent, in defense of influencer red carpet hosts, and when does reality TV become too toxic? I'm Maggie Zhao.
And I'm Jasmine Wallace, and you're listening to Culture Club, where two writers and editors chat about pop culture, current affairs, the internet, and our lives.
Today, we are on the land of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nations.
We would like to pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander listeners today.
I don't know if this is a thing just in the media world, but people always refer to this month of March as March Madness because it's just so busy.
I feel like every month is busy. Everyone's like, this month it's really kicking off. I'm like, but isn't every month like this intense at the moment?
No, I feel like it's been a very lovely week, but it's been like jamming maybe 3 or 4 events in every day. Woe is me. Hard life.
It's a hard life.
But we actually went to an event together last night for the launch of the Melbourne Writers Festival.
Yes, Melbourne Writers Festival is back for another year. This year is actually the 40th year and it's happening in May. There's some really great events. I was really impressed with the program last night.
I think one of the biggest authors that is coming to Australia is R.F. Kuang, who wrote Yellowface, Babel, and she's also got a new book coming out. Her solo event is obviously, no surprise, already sold out, but she's also on another panel discussing dark academia.
I feel like Culture Club listeners will love the Dark Academia panel. There's also a talk with Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand's former Prime Minister, which looks amazing. Lots of great First Nations panels and authors as well. It's a First Nations curation program.
Oh, I'm really excited because they've also brought in a Canadian First Nations curator as well, and it's a global First Nations perspective, which we actually don't see much of in Australia.
It's a really global program, which is really nice to see.
Apart from that, we are both, oh my gosh, I'm coffee-less this morning.
You haven't had a coffee?
I haven't had a coffee this morning, so bear with me, but I feel like I'm going to be running on adrenaline. I actually try to not have coffee every day to make sure I'm not reliant on it. Sorry.
That's crazy to me, whereas I just sat down and I was like, I need another coffee. I've already had one, but I need another.
Yeah, I've seen what caffeine addiction does to the people in my life, and I don't want to be someone who gets headaches and everything. So far so good, but I would like one.
Myself included.
Yes.
If I don't have a coffee before, don't talk to me before I've had my coffee.
Yeah, millennial jazz is out. I have got to say, I'm so excited for Olivia Rodrigo's impending album release or even announcement.
Impending sounds so ominous.
Yeah, well, it's coming. I don't know when. No one knows when. Hopefully soon.
I actually didn't see this anywhere on the internet. I saw this through the articles that were Olivia is teasing a new album. I didn't see the actual teaser itself.
Yeah, I feel like she's been slowly defrosting because her first album, Sour, came out in 2021, then Guts followed in 2023. And then after that, she's been obviously doing worldwide tours as well. But I'm haven't seen much of her, but she's been at more events recently. I'm seeing her papped, I'm seeing her cute outfits. And then now we're seeing more teaser things about her new album.
She was profiled in Vogue US this week as well. Love those shots. You'll see them on Culture Club's Instagram.
I can't wait.
I sent them. I DM'd them.
Okay, love. They'll be live by the time that this episode is out.
So can you tell me more about the album rollout? What were people seeing?
Yeah. So first, she was teasing it a bit. So for instance, in October last year, she told Nylon, quote, I won't say too much, but I think 2026 is going to be a busy year for me. I've been having a lot of fun dreaming things up. Wow. And then since then, we've seen some changes to her visual world. So she's dropped a new logo, which is her initials, OR. It's very cute. But the main big PR move that she's done that we've seen is this big mural in LA. And it's this big wall, and it started off with her signature purple color. And it had that new logo up the top, OR. But then every single day for over the course of a week, it was repainted to a lighter shade until it hit baby pink. What do you think of this?
I think it's quite cute. I think it suits her demographic and her the fans as well. I can't really see her as a pink artist, if that makes sense. I think just because purple is so Olivia.
Yeah. Yeah, baby pink. It's so funny that we're talking about this new color change, and it is a big deal. It's her gender reveal, but but like color
albums.
real. And to coincide with that, her website also changed to that baby pink as well. I found this funny because I was like, oh, it's a PR move that's literally watching paint dry.
So good.
And like, to be honest, in an age of quick, in the age of like fake news, AI, it's nice to see something so human made and so tangible and you're actually watching it happen in front of your eyes.
I'm laughing because like the bar is so low. Like we're literally like, wow, paint on a wall. It's so human. It's so real, man. It's not like it's not like a freaking hologram.
Oh, you're so right. But to be honest, one of my favorite like marketing things is when people get like real painters to paint ads on walls. It happens quite a bit in Melbourne and I'm sure other places. So
yeah, for movies and stuff as well. Yeah, I'm the same when I see like them painting on the wall. I'm like, wow, art. And it's like by a big corporation.
Yes,
but I'm still like, no, like pay the artist.
I know. I'm like, it's the least you could do.
Yeah. The Oscars took place last week. Did you watch?
Not live, but like I was following the news of it. Yeah. I've literally never watched an award show. I'm like, how do people stream these things?
It was on Channel 7.
Do I even have free to air? Probably, I probably do. It's really bad, guys. Sorry.
I watched it at my grandma's house, Channel 7, because I wouldn't have been able to stream it at home. So you're kind of right there. You're right. And I watched it live for like the first time maybe ever. It was really nice.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I did see your TikTok getting teary over it, which is classic jazz.
Classic. I just love seeing people achieving their dreams and like working so hard and getting recognition for it as well. I just thought it was really sweet and loved seeing Jessie Buckley win her Oscar.
Yes.
Michael B. Jordan
as well. So good.
Everyone's speeches.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I kind of sent you on the day that made me so sad, like I was going to cry, was that K-pop Demon Hunters won like best song. And then they had their speech and they had like the whole, like the band up there. And then like the woman speaking and then she's like passing it on to the man next to her and he's got his handwritten note and English is not his first language. And he starts speaking and then the music like cuts him off straight away. And then like the woman on the stage and the other white guy, there was a white guy on stage. They literally jumped on stage being like, no. And it broke my heart. I was like, literally just give him 10 seconds.
It's such a shame as well because all these celebrities have these like bits during like before each award thing and they're not even funny. I'm trying to think like Conan O'Brien was funny, the presenter. But there was a few skits. There was one with like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans.
What the hell have they? Sorry, Marvel 10 years ago?
Marvel stuff.
I didn't like the Anne Hathaway, Anna Wintour one. I just didn't find it that funny. I'm like, sure.
It's fine. But I just don't think it's like that funny. And I feel like SNL is the same. Some of the SNL skits where I'm like, this isn't even like...
Isn't that the whole point of the show?
Yeah, it's a comedy sketch show, but I just think American humor, no offense to Americans listening, I just find it I think it's quite straight, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like British and even Australian humor and comedy is just a little bit more intelligent, not to sound like pretentious. We talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a bit more layered and there's a bit more nuance, whereas Americans just kind of like, haha.
Yeah. They're like, punchline after punchline.
Yeah. And like, get it, like elbowing you. So I found some of the skits, to go back to the point, found some of the skits like that. So they're wasting time on those little skits before the presentation. And then the people who actually are winning the awards don't get the time, which is so sad. And I think there's a little bit of backlash online from that as well.
Another big topic, of course, was the fact that Timothee Chalamet did not win his Oscar. I love how we even say his Oscar, like he had ownership of it. We're not even going to get into that too much. We're talking about the fact that he lost his biggest fan, Club Chalamet.
Club Chalamet is a fan page, essentially, mostly on X, isn't it?
Yeah, but she's across all platforms.
Yes. It's actually run by a 59-year-old fan, Simone Cromer. We've spoken about Club Chalamet on the podcast before because I remember like a year or two ago, she was getting a bit like stalkerish vibes. Do you remember? There was a little bit of kind of conversation around.
Like she knows his siblings and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But now she's like off him. Imagine.
Yep. After 8 years of being a public stand for him, she has now kind of like withdrawn her support. And I feel like this is so harsh. So essentially leading up to the Oscars, she started posting about him like less. And then she also said after the Oscars, she posted on X saying that she's okay with the results, saying, "Believe it or not, I am very, very happy for Michael B. Jordan as I love Sinners so much." Respect.
But there's also some like inklings of her now leaning towards Connor Story, who is the breakout star of one of the breakout stars of Heated Rivalry.
And do you think she's going to change her name to Club Connor?
Club Connor? Yeah, that sounds better.
I hate it because it's kind of close to our name. I'm like, it's a culture club Chalamet.
Not Simone coming for us.
I know. But we'll see. I kind of find it surprising that she's attached herself to Connor so quickly since that, he's known for his like one major role so far. To hedge your bets on this man. I actually feel like it shows a lot. I'm like, she's got some weight behind her name. Like, I trust her. Just a content warning, we touch on domestic violence in this next segment.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which is a Disney Hulu reality TV series, season 4 premiered last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching. Friends of ours have been watching. Mm-hmm. You are not a fan.
Oh, okay. That sounds so harsh. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I just like have no interest. I rarely watch reality TV shows just because it feels like such a big commitment. So this, I'm already like seasons behind.
Yeah.
But you wanted to talk about this. You've been watching, as you said. I feel a little bit of FOMO. I want to know what's happening, but I can't be bothered watching.
I'm also the same. I don't watch a lot of reality TV. Just, you're right, the investment and then like being behind and like you don't know the storylines, you don't know the characters. But for some reason I started this a couple years ago and I actually really enjoy it. It's like one of the only reality TV shows I enjoy. And we are going to talk about it briefly because there's a lot of drama going on with the star of the show, Taylor Paul. So Taylor is a TikTok mom influencer. They're all Mormon wives who live in Utah in the name. And Taylor went viral on TikTok in 2022 for like swinging with her ex-husband.
I remember this story. This was big. Yeah. This like broke into the mainstream because she was like soft swinging with other couples in the Mormon community.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And then because it kind of blew up, they made a reality TV show out of it.
Oh, so that came first. Like chicken or the egg.
Yes.
The swinging or the show.
It's like TikTok stars. It's kind of like the Utah Hype House vibe. Like they were all all mums, all friends on TikTok, all with their individual followings. The swinging scandal blows up and then I hate that I know so much about this. Yeah. The swinging scandal blows up and then they start a TV show and now we're on season 4.
Yeah.
But one of the main storylines is Taylor and her ex and like ex-father of her child, Dakota Mortensen. They are really on and off again.
Oh, wait, isn't her ex-husband's name Tate?
So she has a few exes.
Okay.
Tate is her ex-husband and father of her 2 children, Indy, who's 8, and Ocean, who's 5. And then she has another ex-boyfriend, well, on again, off again, Dakota Mortensen, who is the father of her son, Eva, who's like still a baby, a toddler. So one of the main storylines is them like on again, off again, fighting. They're like super, super volatile.
I think as a side note, I realize I don't think I want to watch reality TV shows of that. Like MAFS is obviously one of the biggest shows in Australia. I have no desire to be pulled into this like extremely volatile situation of like people making bad decisions for TV shows. I'm like, this is like not good for us, dare I say.
Yeah.
That sounds so like natty state. Watch what you want. But just for me, I'm like, I actually don't think it would add anything. Ooh, does that mean?
No.
I know a lot of people. I haven't watched it, so there's that as well.
I don't think it started that way as well. Like it was definitely more like focusing on the moms, and a big part of their storyline is like their careers, them like gaining more fame. One of them, Whitney Levitt, she's like now on Broadway.
Oh my God,
she's like starring in Chicago as Roxy Hart. So like that's really nice to see. Seeing like the friendships and like, yes, there's a lot of fighting, but like, I don't know. I think a lot of people watch reality TV for like psychological reasons as well. Like why are people making decisions or like would I do that? Or, like moral reasons. But you're right. Like with this drama that I'm about to go into, I watched a couple of episodes last night and like Dakota and Taylor are fighting on the show. And I was just like, this isn't fun to watch. But in saying that, in the first episode, one of the biggest storylines is her getting literally arrested for fighting with Dakota.
Right.
And then like the season pauses and then it comes back and then it's like from there. So people have known that this is like a volatile situation. There's been domestic violence, like allegations and stuff. But season 4 just aired. In episode 10, Taylor Paul is about to go off and be the Bachelorette from a different reality TV series. But she's still like fighting with her ex, like on again, off again. She slept with Dakota like the night before. She goes off on this TV show and this Bachelorette is now about to air in March, right? So this was filmed end of last year. And this week, like the night before, days before the airing of her own show, a new video has been released of Taylor and Dakota fighting. And it's so awful, Maggie. Like I can't even tell you. I watched it first thing. A lot of publications aren't even like sharing it because it's so awful. Essentially, like it's physical abuse. Taylor is like hitting Dakota and then she starts throwing metal kitchen stool chairs across the room to him and her child's in the house.
Oh, gee. It's so disturbing that we have like access, that the fact that you watched this video is
like
really,
this morning, like first thing, I was like, oh my God, like Taylor Paul news, because it kind of was like unraveling yesterday about is The Bachelor going to get cancelled? And it was like new, like firstly, Bachelorette is cancelled.
Wow.
Second of all, there's this new TMZ video from like 2023, but it's been released and here it is on TMZ. Wow. It's like, it's really awful.
Are they saying that Dakota, her ex-boyfriend, released that video, or like do we know where that came from?
That's like word on the street. A lot of people are like, why would he do this? Like he sabotages her all the time. Like this is meant to be her big moment with The Bachelorette. Like why is this coming out now? But it's really, really messy. And the ABC, like the US ABC, pulled it saying, in light of the newly released video just surfaced, we have made the decision to not move forward with the new season of The Bachelorette at this time, and our focus is on supporting the family. And Taylor's was planned to be on The Tonight Show. That was cancelled. And a representative for Taylor said to People, it's sad to see the latest installment of his never-ending, desperate, attention-seeking, destructive campaign to harm Taylor without any regard for the consequences for their child. Releasing an old video, which conveniently omits context on their son's birthday, is a reprehensible attempt to distract from his own behaviour. Thankfully, the public has seen this act before and knows who he is, and sadly, many will recognise this pattern of manipulation, both in his actions on the show and from their own experiences. So her team is saying, yeah, he's done this on purpose. He's released this.
Okay, so it's interesting that you mentioned up top that in season 1 there was already like violence embedded into this show. Do you think that this situation changes anything for the fans of the show? Like, are people still going to be watching? Does this change anything for you?
I saw a take this morning on that. Like, why are people so shocked about this? Because like we've known from episode 1 that there was violence there or there was like abuse. Taylor is a really volatile person. I don't think she's like basically. I don't think reality TV is a good environment for her at this point in her life. Not to be like a judge and jury sitting here on a podcast, but you can see it. And I think it's unraveling more and more. And I do think it will begin to affect the fans. Like, that video was so graphic. And even in the last season, a lot of fans were like, she's really got self-destructive behavior. But she's self-aware of it. Like, she knows it's toxic. They're both toxic. But I just think like it gets to a point. And especially when there's children involved, like there's a child in that video crying. Like I think that's a really strong line for a lot of people. And that's how I felt watching the last couple of episodes. I was like, I love the storylines about the other girls and like Whitney going to Broadway and like so fun. And like the dad talk. So that's a whole other side thing as well. The moms, they're getting famous and rich and stuff. And then the dads and the husbands are like, we want in on this as well. Like there's kind of that fun like everyone online is like, why are the dads here? Like, go away, like whatever. Then you see the Taylor and Dakota stuff. Taylor and her mom, there's a lot of trauma there. That's like not fun to watch.
Yeah, I think for me, the onus goes to the producers and the people making money from the show. Obviously, the stars of the show are too, but I think it feels very unethical to be putting these storylines out there when these are real people's lives. Again, I know that they probably consented to this and like they've chosen to go on a show for a reason. I just don't know if it like, this makes me feel icky. Like hearing about this, I'm like, oh my God, I would just want to stay far away from this show.
Yes,
but
very fair.
But again, I know it's so many people's, quote unquote guilty pleasure, or they really like some of the other women and storylines. But for me, that's just like it's become not this like, oh, trivial show that's about these women's lives. I'm like, oh no, it's quite serious.
Yeah. And they've paused production on season 5 as well at the moment. Apparently that was the women's decision. So a lot of like all of the main stars are also executive producers. On Good Morning America, they actually like questioned Taylor on that. They were like, but you're a producer. Like, aren't you in charge of like what happens or like the production and stuff? Because Taylor's like, I don't know if we're paused or not. So that's an interesting point too. But yeah, you're right. I think it gets to a point, and this is it does feel like a watershed moment for reality TV.
Jazz, it is your 10-year anniversary this week with Lorde. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Can't believe it's been a whole decade that we've been together.
Ass decade. And so much has changed in that time, hasn't it?
Truly. When we first got together, I was 20. I was at uni and we did a lot of like long distance back and forth between different countries. We've lived in different countries. We've been married for a few months now. So it's funny like celebrating 10 years this month, but like it also feels like a brand new chapter after getting married.
Completely. And I look back to a decade ago and I feel like what we expect or what we see from relationships has changed so much. I think about the pop culture I'm consuming and the TV shows I'm consuming. Like, of course, heated rivalry, great representation for bi men.
You've also been with Tom for over a decade. You guys were high school sweethearts. How has that been like going, you know, from high school sweethearts, you've been through so much together, to now you're in your mid to late 20s?
Yeah, I feel so lucky that I've been able to grow up with Tom, literally, and we've both been able to grow and change as people together but separately. And we have changed a lot, and that's so normal. I'm not the same person I was at 16. So I feel like checking in with myself, seeing how I'm changing, what interests I'm liking or not liking is really important to me. And that's that introduction to today's sponsor, Field.
If you're wondering what Field is, it's a dating app for people who are tired of dating apps. It's for people who are craving deeper connection and really wanting to know themselves and to get curious about themselves and their relationships.
And speaking of, they've just released Reflections, which is a guided self-discovery tool that you and I have both done. It's to learn more about yourself as well as your romantic and sexual interests that pertain to yourself, but also with partner or your partners.
Like Maggie said up top, even though we're both in long-term relationships, I still think it's really important to stay curious about yourself, your sexuality, and your relationship in general.
It was a good moment of reflection where I actually really had to think critically about like, hey, do I actually like this? Hey, do I not like this? And why?
Yeah.
And you don't really get those chances, I feel.
No, especially when you are in that long-term relationship.
What I loved about doing this reflection was we've done Myers-Briggs, we talk about love languages.
And I'm huge into astrology. Like every single day I'm on some sort of app, like seeing what the planets are doing and like what that means about my life.
Exactly.
So this was so satisfying to like get deep into like our psyche and our relationship. Reflections goes through your desires, your boundaries, and your relationships. It was really thought-provoking and definitely made me feel quite introspective and also more in touch with myself.
Yeah, and you know what I love when people talk about sex is that we should be having like sexy chats or like sexy conversations in unsexy environments, like before bedtime happens, right? So I feel like this was a perfect chance to do that. I think we both sent our results to our partners as well, and I'm encouraging mine to also do this reflections. And it's just so nice to be able to bond and to talk about these things openly.
When you get your answers on reflections, it gives you like a scale, like a sliding scale, which I find so satisfying. It gives you percentages of like where you're sitting on this spectrum of relationships. One thing I enjoyed was knowing that like, yes, I'm literally married, but I still was like answering questions like, no, I do want to just be with one partner, but like maybe in the future, like I'm not totally rejecting the ideas of non-monogamy.
I love that. I feel like I would highly recommend our listeners, whether they're single, dating, or partnered, to do this reflections, because I think it's just nice to give yourself more insight about yourself and allow yourself to think about your desires in a non-judgmental and safe environment. I also think if you struggle with that direct communication about topics like desire, which can be quite confronting to bring up, I think reflections acts as a really great tool to like pass on feedback to your partner in like a way that is nice to receive.
Yeah, and it's all laid out really neatly and nicely, and like it's so easy to just send a link and just be like, hey, this is like how I'm feeling at the moment, or this is like what I might want in the future. It was really good.
So if you do want to try reflections for yourself, visit field.co/reflections. That's FEELD, or you can download Field on the App Store or Google Play.
And there's also a link in our show notes where you can click straight through. Thank you, Field, for sponsoring today's episode. And if any listeners try it, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So just send us a DM.
Big news in the music world. Lorde has left Universal Music Group after her 17-year-old contract quietly expired at the end of last year. So that means now she's fully independent.
I had no idea that Lorde signed this contract when she was 12 years old.
Oh my God. Yep. Isn't that wild? And she's now 29. So to spend, actually, I was going to say most of your adult life, all of your adult life and all of your teen years tied to this contract and this one company would be it would really change your perspective of music on yourself, and it would just change your entire career.
So Lorde sent her fans a community voice note and said, I feel a real hunger for newness, and I feel like a new leaf is turning, or there's a blank slate that's been presented. And I feel this way because at the end of last year, my label deal with Universal came to an end. I adore them, they're incredible people, and I've had an amazing experience. But the truth is that a 12-year-old girl pre-signed and pre-sold her creative output before she knew what it would be like and before she knew what she was signing away.
She continued, I'm sure I'll have a deal again, could well be with Universal, but I knew that I needed to take a second to have nothing being bought or sold that comes from me. When I see an opportunity for a clean slate, I take it. I don't know if you saw my phone background that says I have no master, but I'm trying to feel what that feels like.
I love Lorde. She's so like esoteric.
No, but that last line wasn't, right? Because like the rest of it is she's like clean slate and like, you know, just my own like new leaf, whatever. But then she's like, oh my God. And my phone background literally said like, I have no master, which feels quite intense, being like, okay, so your master was this record label perhaps. Yeah.
One fan and Twitter user FKA Jack agreed with this. They said, kind of fascinated by this revelation, as Lorde has always felt like an artist the label let do whatever the fuck she wants at whatever pace, in brackets 4 to 5 years between each record. And I feel that too. I think like she has had long breaks between with Solar Power. She definitely said like, this is like my creative vision. I don't really care if you guys don't get it. This is, you know, it wasn't critically lauded. Lauded. Even with her new album Virgin, that's been more popular, but it still feels very like creative, independent artist vibes.
Yeah. I think they've gone about it the right way, they being like Universal, because from the outsider perspective, it looked like Lorde was almost operating as a somewhat independent artist because she really like moved to the beat of her own drum from someone who's not in the music industry, right? You're right. The albums were very herself. She was not following, I guess, general trends in the music industry, and her rollouts felt different. But we just don't know what's going on behind the scenes, like how much money they're taking or what other expectations they have of her and how much ownership they have of her music. Those are big. Those are big deals.
We've seen this time and time again, like with Taylor Swift buying back her masters, Britney Spears selling her catalog. Like it's an industry. Like we can say music is like about art and like the fans and stuff, but it is a massive industry and there's a lot of executives who want to get paid.
This makes me really excited for like a new era of Lorde. I'm sure this girl's resting. She just released a new album, but whatever she drops next, I'm like very, very, very excited for. Obviously love her in general, but to have this fully on her own terms will be a new level entirely.
Influencer, actor, and Therapuss podcast host Jake Shane is currently copping a lot of criticism after his red carpet interviews at the Vanity Fair Oscars after party.
Yeah. We'll go into those criticism there is a part of me that feels bad for this short man. I will say, sorry, we'll get into the main criticism later. The first video I saw of him hosting this was with Emma Chamberlain, right? And he could not get a word in sideways. He was really trying to be part of the conversation, and it was like he was struggling.
With Quenlin Blackwell as well.
Yes, as a co-host.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it was kind of sad. It was kind of a hard watch. It wasn't that bad, but I was like, oh my God.
Well, I guess the main criticism is regarding Jake's comments on the movie If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which Rose Byrne was nominated for an Oscar. Did you watch If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
I still have not, but you have, so that's good.
I have. It was like the opening premiere movie at the Melbourne International Film Festival in August last year. I think I might have said this on the podcast before. So stressful. A stressful, like amazing, really good. I'm glad I watched it. But I bit all my nails down in the cinema. Like it was stressful. And in the movie, it's about a mother who has a sick child. And you never actually see this child. You only hear her voice.
Wow.
And it's kind of how Rose Byrne's character is like dealing with being like a solo parent. Her husband is like away, working away. And it's definitely a commentary on modern motherhood, right? So Jake Shane is trying to like chat with some of the actors, and they're talking about If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And we'll just play the clip of him and Julia Fox.
If I had legs, I'd kick you. Wow.
Really good.
Like
really good.
Every mother's story, you know, especially.
You think the kid was annoying?
No, I can't.
Yeah, you know that kid was so damn annoying.
I know, but she had issues, and it's like that's the thing.
I think the kid was annoying because of the mom.
No, can I tell you something? It's not that it's the mother's fault or the child's fault. It's society's fault. It sets mothers up to fail. You know, even the fact that like school gets out at 3, but most jobs are done at 5 or 6. All those little things are so positioned to just not conducive to mothering, if that makes sense.
That makes
you know,
sense.
And it's
Julia Fox for president.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we've dragged this on a little bit. And
Jake also tried to make the same joke with Damon Idris.
Yeah, so he's like repeating the same joke. He's like, the kid's so annoying though. And it's not landing well. Like Damon is kind of like, he even says like, oh, I'm not going to answer that. And he kind of like laughs it off.
It's a bit awkward, but it is bringing back a long had conversation in the past like 5 years, which is influencers versus journalists on the red carpet.
There was this piece in Variety called Jake Shane's Questions at the Vanity Fair Oscar Party Prove Influencers Shouldn't Be Red Carpet Reporters. And that was written by Daniel Daddario. So Daniel writes, Shane's manic derision of a movie his guests actually wanted to talk about seemed to speak to a sort of discomfort with the setting, with the idea of asking questions, and perhaps with this influencer facing the danger of getting outshined. The problem, as far as red carpet reporting is concerned, is that preparation and being able to think on one's feet and respond to what's actually being said in the moment, all elements of journalistic practice are more important than personality.
There's a pretty scathing conclusion in this article as well. They write, this doesn't in and of itself matter much. The Vanity Fair Oscar Party red carpet is not where people turn for insights about the state of the world. But every little chip away at standards of excellence is something that our culture cannot get back. It sounds prudish and corny, but it's hard to imagine the inventor of the Vanity Fair Oscar Party, Graydon Carter, an editor who stress-tested every single word on his magazine's cover, would have thought that a TikTok personality and podcaster with one joke, expressed with increasing volume but no other development, was an appropriate booking. Like anything, red carpet reporting is a craft. It ought to be practiced by people who know what they're doing.
Oh my God, if someone called me out like that, being like, you're saying nothing, you're just speaking louder.
It's pretty scathing.
I'm like, I'd feel so mortified.
So some people are coming to Jake's defense. One user, Yolanda Fister, said, I agree with this, but also think this is so bitter boots. Like, oh, your journalism degree from Columbia didn't get you the job asking celebrities about their favorite movies this year. Girl, grow up and start a TikTok. You're not owed anything in this life.
Oof. Yeah, and I get it because sometimes we've spoken previously about this on mic as well, and I'm like, we never want to come across being like, why are those influencers like getting those jobs and we're not because we studied journalism? right? And it can be a fine line because it can feel a bit petty or jealous. But this conversation is rearing its head again, and I'm glad for that. And I saw this great snippet of a episode of the Cutting Room Floor podcast, and it was with Keltie Knight, who is a Canadian TV presenter. She's won 3 Emmys for her red carpet hosting. Like, she's amazing. I'm going to play a clip here because she talks about how it's about the quality of what these red carpet journalists are doing. It's not necessarily about what your background is.
I have to first realize how I got into this. I don't have a journalism degree. I didn't go to some pedigreed school to get in. My problem is that I am wanting excellence. I'm not as concerned how you got there, but I need you to treat the red carpet with the respect that it deserves. If you're covering award season and you didn't spend your holiday season watching everything and making notes, you kind of don't belong there, you know? So they're going to say, well, I'm not there to like be a journalist. I'm there to like make a viral dance. Okay, and because I have done many interviews where I've done a stupid dance. I've did the duet with Pink from her music video, or I stripped with Channing Tatum. I still saw the movie. I knew everything about that man.
Funny you bring that up. I just subscribed to the Cutting Room Floor this week on Patreon.
Okay, good on you supporting media.
Yeah, it was only, I think it's $10 a month, but I was seeing more and more clips from their Instagram, and I was like, I really want to like hear the whole episode. So I'll link that in the show notes as well if anyone wants to check it out. And yeah, you're so right about coming across as holier than thou. The article, it's pretty scathing, but like there are definitely points in there that stand true. But the thing is, we live in an attention economy. You cannot deny that. We saw this all the time at Pedestrian as well. Pedestrian journalists would get criticism for going to these press junkets and asking like, slay mama or boots the house down. You know?
It's like a thought daughter or gay son.
Yeah. And people in the comments would be like, this is so ridiculous. But those are the videos that would go viral. Yeah. And when you work at a publishing company, that is what the executives care about. They care about the numbers. They care about clicks. And it's not going to be like journalists would then ask like, you know, the thoughtful, introspective questions, maybe about the art or like whatever they're talking about. Those videos get 200 views. Yeah. So like if you want to see that quality rather than like the viral clickbaity thing, you also have to then go and engage with that. And I think that's what a lot of people don't think about. They just think, well, that's a boring answer, or like the discourse comes from like this Jake Shane thing. Yeah.
Because Julia Fox's answer to the question about the movie was so thoughtful and it was really nice to hear reflections. But without this Jake Shane commentary, do you think we would have heard that clip even?
Yeah, so true. Would we? Probably not. I think it came from Julia being like, well, no, there's a little bit of tension there. I also do want to defend Jake a little bit because in an interview with Rolling Stone, like in the same week, Jake says, I'm not a journalist.
Alongside the article, there was also a recorded interview. So we'll play the clip where he talks about not being a journalist.
Do you ever feel like you're doing acts of journalism with your interviews, or do you feel it's a different category altogether?
I think it is insulting to journalists to say what I do is journalism.
I don't know about that.
It is. And you can clip that. So I'm not a journalist. I didn't go to school for journalism. There are real journalists out there asking real, thoughtful, hard questions. What I am having with people is a conversation. You can say that's journalism, but it's not hard-hitting. What I do isn't hard-hitting. I want to create a comfortable, friendly environment for my guests. I don't ever want them to feel... I've always said I want my show to feel like if you were just to sit down with them and get to know them, what it would feel like. I'm not a journalist. Yeah.
I also learnt through this that Shane's mother is actually a writer for Washington Post, or was.
Wow.
So I think that was really good of Jake to be like, I'm not a journalist, and there are people out there who are doing really important work, and what I am doing is a conversation chat show.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of conversation chat shows out there at the moment, like Royal Court, Brittany Broski, love her. She's so funny, but it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But then there is a thing called entertainment journalism. So like.
Yeah. And you're so right. There's so many categories like this. Why do we put a lot of heat on people like Jake, but perhaps Lorde? Like we're big fans of Chicken Shop Date. Whereas in a similar way, she's not asking these quote unquote hard hitting like journalist questions. But I think what audiences perhaps want is that like care and that research or that background info. Even with Brittany Broski, like even when I imagine the set of it all, I'm like, there's been so much like energy poured into it. And perhaps that's what we want. We don't want people rocking up on the day, not knowing who they're talking about, not knowing what they're talking about, and for those people to be leading the conversations.
And on Amelia of Chicken Shop Date, she actually has a background in communications. She has a BA in fashion comms from Central St. Martin's, which is university in London. She also hosted the Oscars red carpet. In the lead up to it, she was doing so much prep. Like she was talking about it on her Instagram stories. And I think Amelia does a really good job of researching, as she should. Like that's her job, right? I think takes it quite seriously too.
Yeah, but then it was funny. I think it was actually maybe in that Kelty clip up the top, but it was like, or I saw somebody else saying, it's like, we don't want to see two people meeting for the first time as a red carpet clip of like having these internet personalities being like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh, I love your stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Like that's what we're getting a lot from these celebs. I want to say someone who's doing so well, again, I think Kelty said this, Mary Beth Barone. She's been touted to be like, she's done her research, she like knows these people, but she can also bring that levity and she's so funny and she can be very like approachable and personable. And that mix I think is great for red carpet reporting as well. It's interesting that you bring up like, oh, Amelia's got this degree in something, because is that just what makes a journalist if you've done a degree in it? Because I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, I think it shows that you studied and you like have found a foundation of like the basics of like communications, how the industry works. And I'm not saying that you can't get that from like being on the job, but I think having that communication professional experience, like she's done work for Vice and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking about I'm just talking in general. For instance, I was at an event earlier this week and talking to this journo who's probably been working like 30, even 40 years, and she didn't study journalism, despite the fact that I did my journalism degree. I'm like, it helped me a bit. It wasn't like the most thorough and extensive course, and I didn't leave that feeling like a journalist. I felt it after working in journalism.
Yeah, definitely. But I think if you're like going back to this point of the red carpet stuff, if you don't have a journalism background or a degree, you've never worked in the space as a writer or whatever, producer, whatever, and then you only have a background of like posting videos on the internet and being a comedian, and then you're on a red carpet and then get called out for it, like you're going to have more confidence and more like experience from having at least worked in that space, whether it is just a degree or is work experience, like a couple of years, and then being online and then having a podcast and then getting to that point. I think that does give you more legitimacy than someone like Brittany. Like I think Brittany's really, really great at what she does. She's hilarious. She's entertaining. She's obviously really smart. She blew up from a kombucha video, a kombucha reaction video. So many of these pop culture stars did. Like Delaney Rose, she was also a red carpet presenter this year at the after party. She like made sketches on TikTok as well, similar to Jake, that kind of like online comedian. Not discounting what they do, and I'm really not trying to be like a purist about it, but I think definitely having some level of experience, whether it is a degree or is the work. I think work experience does mean more because like you said, you meet people who don't have degrees who are really successful in the industry as well. But I do think in this conversation, that's what people are saying. Like having that background gives you more legitimacy.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I also want to make space for like an emerging creator, emerging in some way, of like people who make really considered and exhaustive like video essays on topics, usually on YouTube, but of course through podcasts and stuff, where a lot of them don't call themselves journalists, but they kind of dabble more so in that space as well. I think there's so many different levels to being a content creator online, and you can't just be like, oh, if you post videos on the internet, like you can't do this.
Definitely.
It's now time for Bookmarked. Jazz, what are you recommending this week?
Mine's actually kind of on theme with what we were just talking about. I'm so late to the party on this one, like a year late, but I finally watched Benito Skinner's TV show Overcompensating. Yay. Did you watch this?
Yeah, I recommended it on the podcast ages ago. Tell me what you thought.
Okay. I'm like, wait. I loved it. So it features Benito, who plays Benny, who's a former high school jock and closeted college student navigating freshman year. And then he has a sister, Grace Scanlon, who is played by Mary Beth Barone. They also have a podcast together,
So
which is they're so funny. I love them. Wally Baram is Carmen, Benny's best friend, and there's some great cameos too. Charlie XCX and Caleb Heron, who's also a comedian. I really enjoyed the show. I watched it because I felt like everyone was talking about it like a year ago, and I needed to catch up. It was a bit more like mainstream than I thought. If that makes sense. Like kind of, I guess, like that's the theme. It's like quite all American college vibe. So it felt like less like I thought it was going to be more sitcom. Yeah. And it felt a bit more polished.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. It's quite heartfelt and earnest as
well.
Yeah.
Especially because like Benito and Mary's comedy, I think, isn't super earnest. They're very like, when I see them, I feel like they're like the cool kids.
I get what you mean.
But then in the show, Benny as a character is, very earnest, very insecure. But it's also based on Benito's like real kind of coming out story. So I think having that in mind definitely made it like a bit more heartfelt and heartwarming. Season 2 has been confirmed, thankfully, because it ends definitely on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It could have ended there, but I also think that was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah. I hope it's like a 2-season run.
Yeah. There's only so much.
Yeah.
So many places you can go
Exactly.
with it.
I wish people would just sometimes know when to end something and just keep it as like a nice capsule.
That's a good point. Sorry for recommending something twice if you recommended this before, but I enjoyed it. And I feel like I now need to also go watch Adults, which is kind of like in the same universe, like really similar, like living in your 20s in the US style.
I watched them at like the same time, like back to back, and I much preferred overcompensating.
Oh, okay. So I started with the highlight.
Yeah, well, I also started with overcompensating, so I don't know how you'll find it. I guess Adults is more like off kilter and rogue, but I just found I don't know if you want me to say it. The character is quite grating, but also like quite like one-dimensional. And this was very much more like endearing. Overcompensating is like a sweet watch, but it's also funny. See how you go though.
I think maybe that's why I put off watching it, because they came out at the same time. Then I was like, I'm overwhelmed with this like American college content, so I'm just going to leave it. And so I finally got to it. So I highly recommend that. Maggie, what are you recommending this week?
Also a TV show. Love
Fun.
It for us.
We never really do TV shows.
No, and mine's an Australian TV show too. Have you heard of Deadlock?
Yes. This is also a bit of an older one, isn't it?
Well, kind of. It's from 2023. I will say as a disclaimer, I'm actually working on promoting season 2. It's like I'm doing social content, but this is like so separate from that. So I watched season 1 in prep for that. And I loved it, guys. I did not watch that many Australian TV shows. Actually, there's been a few in the past few years I've really enjoyed, like Colin from Accounts, etc. But Deadlock.
We need to watch more Australian TV, guys.
Girl,
we need to support Australian content.
Girl, I know. I know. And I'm doing it now because Deadlock is a black comedy crime mystery TV show. And it was like so funny. And this is a thing. Sometimes I think with Australian things, especially like things that were produced older, it doesn't really feel real, like authentically Australian. I'm like, I don't know, like the humor doesn't feel right. Or
it's like caricatures of Australians.
Exactly. Whereas this one, I was like, oh no, this feels so real. So the show is created by Kate McCartney and Kate McLennan, which is just incredible to have two Kate Mcs making the show. And it stars Kate Box, another Kate, Madeline Sammy, Alicia Gardiner, and Nino Yama. And season 1 is set in this fictional town called Deadlock in Tassie. And it's like this like half gentrified by like lesbian town. And what happens, it's like a crime show. So there's like murders start happening. And it was just so good because the humor is so good, but they also take the crime portion of it seriously. And it's not your average cop show because like ACAB, I don't watch crime shows, but this one like knows its place and isn't afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. It's like for the woke gen, if I could say that. But yeah, season 2 is also out now. It's on Prime Video, but I really loved season 1.
I need to watch season 2 then.
Yeah, I know. You could I would recommend watching it in order.
Yeah, I've seen season 1.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Second season set in Darwin. So
Ooh,
it's
okay.
a bit of a scene change.
Well, that's all we have time for today, but thank you so much for listening to Culture Club. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, give us a little rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yes, we'll actually be dropping a bonus episode in the feed this week, so keep your eyes peeled, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. See ya.
Bye.